Hi, mining community. Welcome back to another episode of the Dig Deep, the mining podcast. And today's guest is Kerem Usenmez, who's the president and CEO of Metallum Resources, who are a zinc and copper focused base metal resources company headquartered in Vancouver. They're involved in mining and mineral development of base metals with interest in North and South America. Kerem has a geology background and has a wide range of career experiences, and is here today to talk to us about Metallum and resources, and talk about more about the zinc as a metal. So that's welcome, Kerem, to the podcast. How you doing, Kerem?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and chatting with you about Metallum and the zinc market.
Yeah, appreciate your time as well. So, as we always start these podcasts off, I wondered if you can give the audience an overview of your background, your career, how your career's developed. So obviously the audience will get to know you as a person and your background and your experiences.
Absolutely, thank you. I'm a geological engineer. I worked in projects from really scoping studies to exploration, all stages of exploration and mine development within Canada, across Canada, as well as in Latin America, Eastern Europe, and one project in Africa, so I can say Africa as well. But it's exciting times for mining, especially zinc and copper, and we're excited with our new project that we're developing right now.
Okay. And I wondered if you can obviously give us an overview of Metallum Resources, and can you tell us a little bit more about the projects that you're actually involved in?
Absolutely. Metallum is relatively a new base metals company with a focus in zinc and copper mainly. We're listed in Canada on the Toronto Stock Exchange under the symbol MZN. Our flagship project is a polymetallic advanced superior lake project with incredibly high grade zinc and copper resources, and located near Thunder Bay, Ontario, in a very well-known jurisdiction, with world-class infrastructure in place. It's an old producing mine, so we benefit from the infrastructure and the history of high recoveries with free from deleterious materials, and which makes the concentrate very desirable from the smelter's point of view. So the product we're going to be producing, which is in line with the historical production, is very desirable for the buyers in really around the world. So we have some interest already. So the current 43-101 resource is about 2 million tons at 18% zinc, 1% copper, about 34 grams per ton silver, and half a gram per ton gold. This is basically equivalent to 800,000 ounces of gold at 11 grams per ton. So any way you look at it, it's very high grade in any standards, really, in all these metals. So to give listeners the context, the world's average ore grade for a copper mine is about 0.5%, and the mines that are under development is about 0.4 almost percent currently. So our project has 1%, so almost twice as the world's average in copper. But when zinc is considered, which is the main metal really in this deposit, in 2000, the average grade for zinc mine in the world was around 5%, but it got lower and lower as the mines develop and the new discoveries and whatnot. So in 2019, that was around 2%. What we have in the indicated resource is 18%. And if you convert everything into zinc, which is zinc equivalent, it's about today's price is 22% zinc. So that's extremely high grades, one of the highest grades deposits in the world actually for zinc. Apart from that, there are multiple things that are very important for us, that why we picked up this project earlier this year when Metallum was formed, pretty much. The one is the upside potential, and the other one is the timeline and the capital requirement to bring this mine into production. We recently published a feasibility study in October this year, 2021. It has incredibly low initial capex, capital, and OPEX, operational cost numbers. It basically only needs around 115 million US dollars for capex, but it will generate 54 million per year over the life of mine, which currently sits around 8.5, 9 years. So, and the NPV is at 101 million US, and after-tax IRR is at 23%. However, these are based on $2,700 per ton zinc prices. When you use today's prices, the IRR sits at around 35, 36%, and NPV is at 206 million. It's just over twice as much. So the feasibility study was done very conservatively. And with today's numbers, the EBITDA goes to $80 million per year over the course of the mine life, which is 9 years. So very profitable because of the low operational, low capex numbers, and very, very high grade nature of it. So when I say the capex is low, it's due to the capex heavy infrastructure being in place, such as tailings dams, the polishing ponds, shaft and raises, and there's about 16 kilometers of underground workings that are in place, right to the ore, ready to be mined, pretty much. And there is a road that connects the mine gate to Trans-Canada Highway for 20 kilometers road that is well maintained, and it's a year-round road because it's not a remote location, as well as the project is on grid. There's already a transformer on site, and there's a railway station 25 kilometers away in Schreiber, Ontario, and being close to Thunder Bay, the port, and the biggest mining hubs in Canada, is very, very important for all these aspects. These all will provide us the big advantage to ship our product from the mine to smelters across Canada, across North America, or via port to Europe, or from Vancouver to China. And the other thing I wanted to touch base is the upside potential. So this is a VMS deposit, which means that the VMS deposits usually come in 4 to 6 horizons in the world. So far, only 2 deposits have been discovered. One of them mostly depleted. The other one is waiting to be mined. But there is more to be found. So this was the previous operating team didn't really do a lot of exploration. They were just going after the high grade, or they mined it about for 10 years. And at the time, it was really low zinc prices, so they decided to shut down the operations. It was around $800 per ton zinc, which today is around $3,500, and our feasibility study was done at $2,700. So there's a lot of room for us to play with, but it's highly underexplored. There's a lot of multiple targets to go after, but our initial focus is to develop the mine and then do some exploration. Our chairman, Simon Ridgway, has discovered many discoveries in Canada and in Latin America. One of the biggest ones, obviously, he did was the Fortuna Silver. He built that and many others in Guatemala that he's currentently working on, another project there. But we also have Mark Cruz as a strategic advisor who built Trevally Mining from scratch grew it to being one of the top 10 zinc producers in the world with a market cap of $1.5 billion. To give a context, we are at around $15 million market cap. I mentioned one of the lowest, developers with a market cap lowest in the world right now, in TSX right now. So a lot of great upside potential. We have great shareholders, institutional support. I'm personally a shareholder, so is Simon. We have interest from metal traders, mine financiers, and mine developers so far. So great team, great project, great jurisdiction. I think this is the right project with the right commodities at the right time. Wayne Gretzky once said, skate where the puck is going, not where it has been.
Yeah, certainly. I just wondered if you can tell us a little bit about, obviously, the development in terms of the location for people that are maybe outside of Canada that doesn't know the area. Is there any neighbouring mines that may be developing or also in the same phase as you? So I just wanted to give us an overview of maybe other companies in the area and a little bit around the location for those that are outside of Canada, because obviously this podcast is throughout the world. So yeah, just want to if you can give us that overview.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm an immigrant, so I came to Canada because I have the geological engineering background, and so it's very desirable mining jurisdiction. So a lot of investments going on, but this area, particularly in Ontario, is a mining hub. Usually, I mean, in some cases, in Canada, the projects could be quite remote, meaning the transportation, you might need to build roads, huge capital costs, as well as power, getting there and getting your product out. We are very close to 20 kilometers main Tate Road, right to the main Trans-Canada Highway, east of Thunder Bay. Thunder Bay is a mining hub. There's a lot of labs already there, processing, drilling contractors, mining consultants, and a lot of skilled labor force. There's a port that you can connect right to Atlantic, but in and around Thunder Bay area, a lot of mining and exploration is happening currently. Just north is Red Lake. There is Great Bear. There's Noront, which is being bought by PHP. There's an offer. They're coming in the area. There is a lot of gold. There's Hemlo just east of us. And between where we are and Wawa, a lot of gold exploration, some polymetallic, former zinc mines. So a lot of activity going on. And First Quantum Inmet used to mine this. So we have great neighbors, great support from locals and the government. So the ministry is very, very well run from Thunder Bay for geology as well as mine development.
Okay, yeah. Obviously, you mentioned obviously some of the neighbouring mines. Wondering if you can tell us a little bit about obviously the relationship with the local communities and local governments in that area. Obviously, in relation to your project and to zinc.
Absolutely. So we have really supportive and great local community, as they are very familiar with the history of the mine. It created a lot of skilled jobs and training. But in Canada, First Nations relationships could be sensitive. You need to have all the stakeholders support if you want to do something meaningful. So far we have a great relationship with the main First Nations group and the locals in the area. Apart from them being supportive, we really believe in transparent and open communication with all of our stakeholders. For example, we have been utilizing local and First Nations businesses. That is going to continue to be that way. For example, our recent drilling contractor was a First Nations owned and operated drilling company, which is not very common in Canada. But this person was very good, business person and a drilling contractor. We were very happy. And we are also working with another First Nations affiliated surveying contractor and for permitting works, as well as some water monitoring in and around the site. Currently, all the work basically we are doing. But overall, ESG is our really main focus. We believe without protecting the environment, the social impacts and sustainability, we just cannot move forward. The management and the board believe really it's a fundamental part of who we are and how we want to operate and move forward with this mine development. Because we recognize if done properly, the results become better outcome for all stakeholders. So with the locals and First Nations, we have ongoing open communication and a really great support so far.
Can you tell us a little bit more about obviously the zinc market and obviously its position in I suppose the overall market? Obviously, you mentioned you're the lowest cap zinc producer zinc company out there. Wondering if you just give us an overview of the whole zinc landscape.
Yeah, we believe in zinc and copper, as there are numerous reasons to be bullish on zinc, really. First of all, zinc is the fourth most globally consumed industrial metal in the world. Massive global stimulus driven by infrastructure and automotive are and will be the main drivers currently and in the short term. So I was in London actually during the week of LME in October. The main consensus and outlook is very bullish on zinc, as well as copper, obviously, because so far the stock levels have been lower than what they were expecting for 2021 for both zinc as well as copper. But on top of that, during that week, actually, smelter closures were announced in Europe because of power issues, or the power being so expensive in Europe, is also fueling the uptake on zinc price currently for the short term. Maybe not long term, but for the short term for sure. But on top of that, the projection is basically the world needs a minimum of 5 million tons of more zinc to meet the current demand in the next 5 to 7 years. But the probable mine development around the world can only supply about 3.5 million tons. So there will be a deficit in supply for the next 5 to 7 years. Also, when electrification is concerned, copper and zinc will fuel the green economy. Zinc has figured out how to store energy safely and effectively at a very low cost. And global stimulus, we mentioned, that is needed around the world will keep the base metal prices basically at a very low cost, and demand up for the next roughly 5 years that everybody's predicting. And zinc is well suited to electrochemistry. First electric battery, actually, and first rechargeable batteries were zinc-based. Edison actually utilized zinc air and nickel air batteries first. So zinc was there before, and even alkaline batteries like AA we use are based on zinc. So the advantages of zinc air batteries are getting huge, and the zinc air batteries are getting more and more traction as they're non-flammable, non-toxic. Because zinc is not toxic to transport, it makes it easy, has a long lifespan, 15 to 20 years, and very flexible for operating temperatures like minus 30 degrees to 60 Celsius, like which you need in places like in Canada. So it's fire resistant. It goes on and on. So Metallum is very well positioned for this, with developing the next zinc mine in Canada in a short time period with very low cost.
Obviously, you mentioned there's the deficit, and I think from memory, it's probably 1.5 million. Is that per year? What effect is that going to have on the economy for what obviously zinc's used for, maybe in the shorter term, with that deficit? And do you think over time they will catch up that deficit?
Well, obviously, yeah, I totally agree with that, because what happens is usually, it's just a cyclical business, mining. So the deficit will provide higher zinc prices for the years to come. We're looking at, I'm not just saying that, all the analysts and the people who study zinc prices around the world, helping with metal traders and whatnot, say that it's 5 to 7 years, there is going to be a deficit, meaning zinc prices will be high, and they expect for the next year and year after 10, 15, 20% higher zinc prices. What does that mean? There will be more investments going into zinc. There will be more exploration, maybe potentially finding zinc deposits and mines around the world. But getting those into production, we all know, 5, 10 years. So having this early or this short time span to get into production for Metallum is going to create a lot of good advantage compared to peers or any other discoveries around the world with the highest grade in the world. So I think we are very well positioned time-wise towards the higher zinc prices that are to come. But what does that mean? Maybe there will be enough at the time, like after 5, 7 years, and then maybe the prices are going to go up. I mean, zinc has always been more volatile than any other base metal. So there will be ups and downs along the way, but everybody's expecting it in the long term to go up.
Why should investors follow you and maybe invest in the company?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, one of the things is we are the next zinc miners, and we are the next. We have the next Canada's next zinc mine, and it's a great time. We're early stages to get in and benefit from it. So right now we are negotiating for financing offtake agreements. There's a lot of interest from metal traders, mine developers, mine financiers, so big institutions. But also, I mean, this would be really, good time to get in, I would say.
And as a conclusion, what would you say the short to medium term outlook is for the company?
Yeah, so we are in talks for the offtake, debt and equity, and we're hoping to finalize those in the first quarter of the new year, Q1 of 2022. We have most of the permits in place, and also working to obtain other necessary permits to move forward towards production. One of them is to dewater the mine. It's currently flooded because it's better that way when you leave a mine. If you're coming back, they usually flood it so that there's no corrosion and the stability is maintained. So we need to dewater that. For that, we need a couple of permits. Those are underway. We're doing all the work. We're hoping to get those again Q1 in the new year 2022 and immediately start dewatering, which means you start doing some construction work as well. So we're hoping to do that in the second half of the year. And lots going on. We might, as we start the construction, we might do some more exploration near mine or around the known resource to get early access to some of the good ore that are not included in the resource, but it's basically sitting there. We just need to find out. It's a sitting duck. We just need to find out how big the duck is. Meanwhile, at the same time as we built the mine. So lots going on, exciting times for Metallum and Metallum shareholders.
Yeah, certainly is exciting times, and really appreciate your time, Kerem. And wondered if our audience wants to reach out to you, if they've got any questions about Metallum and about the operation. I wondered how they can go about reaching out to you. Are you on social media at all?
Absolutely. We are on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And anybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. But our website is metallumzinc.com. So it's metal, LUM, zinc as one word, .com. My information is also there, that the email on the website. They can always reach out to me by phone or email. I'm always available to talk more about Metallum and our projects anytime.
Yeah, certainly. And we can include those in the show notes below. So really appreciate your time. And for those that listen, hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you understand, I suppose, the significance of zinc in the market. And as you heard, there is probably potentially going to be an undersupply. So maybe it's a good company to start looking at and following. Especially obviously if you're focusing on zinc, or if not, maybe zinc could be a metal that you can actually focus on. So really appreciate your time, Kerem, and thank you for listening. Appreciate if you can share this episode amongst friends, family, other people in the industry, because obviously this knowledge is going to be beneficial to others in the mining industry. So until next time, happy mining.